That you took the clue nicely, Dan. This meeting is being recorded. I should push the continue button. Or no, let me out of here. Um, as our announcement said, you guys are the presenters. We have lots of you. Um, oh, a bunch of you here. Um, so I've been.
Mel Mel has already sent us a whole bunch of material in the background. So
Oh, of course he has.
Yeah, I was looking at doing a session similar to this one in there, but then I saw yours, so I pulled it. So I just sent you the stuff that we had from a couple of years back and added on the Kala Lab training document as a reference after the session was over. Because Dan posted up on his website, and Mark's going to put it up on ours as well. So
I was thinking, what was it? Yeah, that didn't one of the square dance groups very recently say, what you think to get out from zero lines, and I didn't really want to repeat that, but I wasn't thinking when I came up with this with this thought. But I still think it'll be fun to share and to see them and the caminations and such. But in after coming up with this idea, I started thinking, what is a good get out? Not specifically a specific one, but what does it take to be a good get out? And first of all, a get out, just a quick reminder, is from a known setup or a known phaser or phaser. It's a call or a series of calls that gets you either to the corner or to right and left brand or to home. Um, that's the basics of it. But to me, a good one means that it gets you there with a slight surprise for the dancers, a little bit of variety, kind of unique, not just center square through three quarters. It means, for me, it's one that's easy to remember. That when I happen to be in a particular setup, oh yeah, I could get out by doing this. It's one that I think has enough variety that I don't want to use it more than once a night, maybe twice, because people will catch on that that's one of my get outs. Um, it's one, obviously, that flows well and times well. Um, and it it's one that is easy for the dancers to do, that they don't get lost, that it's not so fancy that they can't handle it. And I've had a few over the years that I can't remember right now, that don't meet that last qualification, but the thing is, they're close enough that they can't go wrong, and they've got to figure it out anyway because the corner is the only one near them. And if people have trouble with it, and if they don't have trouble with it, then it's clever for the ones that actually get it, and it's close enough for those that don't get it. Any other thoughts on what makes up a good one or bad, or should we save that for the end and just throw in some and have some fun? Let's share a screen, Mister. I'll start off with one, and then an opening break. It's very simple. Let's see.
at Dawn,
Yeah.
just before you go to that, I look at getouts with two things. There's getouts for me, which are the standard pat, and every caller should have a series of very quick getouts from the fixed point partner line corner box that they can just throw in as a quick, like 3 or 4 movement. Mm-hmm. And then the second part of my get out is the focus movement or the focus theme get out, which is designed for every tip. So that's just throwing that into the mix because get outs are get outs are get outs.
You know, well, I agree with you. I think I worded that wrong when I said the center square through three quarters is it is one that you should be able to do. You know, from your zero box, swing through, boys run, Ferris wheel, pass through. But I hadn't thought of the third category in my mind that you just mentioned, of you're theming a tip on something and you use some get outs using that theme. That's kind of a cool thing too. Opening one, Mel, start typing. Just an opening break. Four ladies chain. Four ladies fold. Good body flow. It keeps going. Touch a quarter. Now, what I would like to say here, but Taminations doesn't understand it, is, at least I don't know how to type it in, is men star half, but just say men trade to a right and left grand. And promenade home if you want to do that.
Give me 1 second here. I'm just going to do this as well.
And so I think something that might be interesting in doing this, we looked at one call at a time. Now let's have you just play the sequence and watch it through again. So we're doing four ladies chain straight across, and then four ladies fold to touch a quarter is the gimmick here. Men star half to a right and left grand. This takes them right where they're going.
Can you speak to whether you think girls fold touch a quarter flows?
I guess we'll have to look at it again. I'm thinking, if anything, it's overflow, but
No, I think it would be. Here comes the
courtesy
fold.
turn to a fold works. Any thoughts on whether that's awkward or not?
It looks like it kind of flows to me.
Depends on presentation, how you time it, how you deliver it.
As does everything.
Yeah. I was looking at that with the courtesy turn. If you do a girls fold, or you can even do a girls fold left touch a quarter, or after the chain girls run left hinge men star right, pass your partner to an Alaman left, in that same vein of sequence will work really nice as well.
Mel, click on dancer speed fast and then click the play button and let's just watch it.
Yeah, I'll just take the, I was trying to do the other one on there. I'll just take that off there for a second. So yeah, the left fold and a right touch a quarter is just a bit concerning.
Good catch, Clark. Do a square set, and I'm going to do one more that's very similar to this, but this is one of those where people don't dance fold correctly, frequently, and like in that, very similar to that last sequence. But this is one that even if they don't get it right, they're going to get it right, because so the ones that get it right will appreciate it, and the ones that don't will get through it. Four ladies chain. And Clark, I may have bad flow in this. I hadn't thought about it again. Four ladies chain again. Four ladies fold. Star through and promenade. And just run the whole sequence again, and we'll watch the flow on that. But this is a good one that if you have the ladies on the other side, so you don't have to chain them twice. But so if they don't fold right, they're still gonna be with the person they have to promenade with, and it works. Are you dancing with your hands, Clark?
Yeah, in this case, the lady's folding is having her turn leftward, and the star through has her continue to turn leftward. So that's not a problem.
Okay.
It was the lady's fold turning leftward into an immediate touch a quarter, which has her turn the other direction, has a little bit of an agitator action to it.
And when we ran it fast, we could see that pretty nicely too. But
Right. and yet left touch a quarter is good. I mean, let me say one other minor thing. Terminations is cheating on the fold, because when the ladies fold, the men don't step half sideways to the right.
Right.
When you do your touch a quarter, the men are half a step backwards from having a nice star in the middle. So having them make a star in the middle is a good thing, because they're going to walk forward and make the star and everything will feel good. If we did the ladies fold left touch a quarter, the men are a little bit past having the star in the middle and they can do it, but it's not quite as nice as doing it the other way. So the fold is in how you get rid of the offset of the fold is also a secondary effect of this whole idea.
Mel, hit us with a reset. 4 ladies chain, 4 ladies fold, and left touch a quarter. And I'm sure we can figure a get out from here. Men trade to a wrong way grand. But play that fast and let's see what the left touch a quarter looks like. Run through it. Hit the play button. Too fast for me to see. Anyway, that's an opener. Anybody? Oh, let's do it that way. Again, without the fold correction that Terminations is doing, it might have flowed nicely. So, who's next has got something interesting to add? A good opener, closer, get out. Should I go across the screen and ask people one at a time?
Well, I don't know if this is an opener kind of get out, but here's one that I use when I'm teaching square through and I want to make sure that dancers can handle the sashayed or the half arrangement of square through. Head square through 4. Right and left through or equivalent. Slide through. Or equivalent, obviously. Pass through. Tag the line. Face in. And I should have put that as part of the tag the line. Sorry.
It's all right.
Square through 2. And a right and left grand. And I will do that, and then I will go back and do the same thing without the initial right and left through, and do a square through 4 at the end to a right and left grand. Because the square through 2 to a right and left grand, then they know they're looking for their partner, and they're only doing it after only 2 hands, and the second time through, they know they're doing it after 4.
Tag the line in is one of those nice things that will half sachet people or unhalf sachet people, and it's a smooth way of doing that. Very nice. I forgot to ask, sometimes we have people that are colorblind in the group and the colors we've chosen don't differentiate well. Do we have that problem with anyone here? Good. Let's continue on. Should I go across the top of my screen? John, can you volunteer a get out?
John is just going to be a willing participant today. I don't have a get out.
Well, you said willing and you said participant. We're trying to get you to participate.
No, I guess John worded that wrong. John is just watching.
Okay.
I don't have anything off the cuff. No.
Maybe you'll get inspired. Yeah, from here we could do an Alaman left. So from home we could have gotten a left square through 4 to it. Mel, you're next on picture on my screen.
I'm next on yours, am I? Well, one that's actually quite easy is from here. If you do a star through and just all join hands, circle left, and then half sachet. Hang on.
I'm guessing Caminations isn't going to do the circle left.
No, and then
Oh, yeah.
and then from there, just face your corner Alaman left, or face your partner right and left grand, or step ahead right and left grand. You have an options.
That's nice.
So a nice quick, if you get to that corner box and you want to pick everybody up quickly, just star through lines up to the middle and back. You can do a circle left, half sachet, or face, and then there's the Alaman left, or face your partner right and left grand, either or. It's a very quick and easy.
Meets the qualifications. Easy to remember, easy for the dancers, and not your normal thing. Like it. Clark, you're next on my screen. Give us a C3A call. No.
So I don't have anything obvious. I was just looking at trying to find some written material before you called on me to see if, because here we go. Usually I start each tip with what I call an opening biggie, what you might call just an opening. It's a short sequence to get everyone listening to my voice, dancing and moving. And I usually have a pile of them for each dance program. And I was just looking to see if I wrote one. And unfortunately, back in 2005, when I last wrote some plus that I can find quickly, I did not find, oh, here's one more. Let's try 2007. It's starting up Microsoft Word.
You must have a Mac. It's taking forever.
It is a Mac. Well,
I know
it's
that.
not disastrously old. Okay, so this looks good. And let's see if I have sometimes I write the opening biggies at the end of writing the dance. So here's the shortest one I have. Oh, nope. This is for a specialty tip. This doesn't count. So nope, I have things to say, but I don't have a sequence to contribute at the moment. Sorry.
Daryl, you're next on my screen.
All righty. Well, I wasn't sure what I was going to add to this. And mine are probably things that Caminations may or may not do. And some of it is probably going to be questionable about the rules of choreography. But I'd like to precede everything with saying this. I think far too much of our choreography or our calling these days is directed towards what I always thought of as the salt or the seasoning of our choreography, which is the get out. I know callers that it seems like everything that they're calling is directed towards a special get out. It didn't used to be that way. And it scares me a little bit that the newer callers coming along now think that's the way that it has to be. It's just made learning to call that much more difficult.
You know, Daryl, we should have a session here on just flow modules where we put them all dancers the same color and hide the numbers and just do flow modules. That might be cool. Good idea.
I hope you understand what I'm saying. I use the gimmicky get outs, but I try to not use them at the end of every sequence.
Right.
I think it's far overdone. I think the salt is outdoing the steak now. Okay, with that said, I try to keep most of that type of stuff simple because I'm a simple type of person. One that I like and is really, really very fast is corner box out of sequence. In other words, if you did a heads pair off right and left through, or square through right and left through, I'm sorry. Okay. We have not done that yet, have we?
No, he's got an across the street box instead of a out of sequence corner box.
Oh, you want a corner box out of sequence. My mistake. Sorry.
Square through, square the barge 3/4, do a right and left through. Actually, pass through trade by would have gotten you there.
Okay. From here, swing through. Swing through. Everybody run right. Everybody fold.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Alaman left. Now you're going to get every head on the floor spinning around looking at you when you say that everybody run right. And it's not going to be ready for that. And of course, the everybody fold to the Alaman left. How could you not find your corner no matter whether you did the run right or the fold? So that, to me, that's important, is to have something that they're not going to mess up on. It's short, it's simple.
I've seen the everybody fold on a number of occasions, but I've never seen everybody run, everybody fold. I like that.
And that meets what I was saying is those that know how to do it will appreciate the cleverness of it, and those that don't are close enough so they'll get through it anyway.
Another one from that same corner box out of sequence. And this one might be kind of weird. Well, definitely weird. Slide through. Right and left through with a full turnaround. Same girl, Alaman left. They can't not find her. And there again, femination doesn't like it. I understand that.
If you want to flip them around even more, you could throw another girl's fold in before the.
Yeah, you could. I typically, this one I'll use pretty much when I'm getting funny with singing calls. I'll do that right and left through with a full turnaround and a quarter more right into a promenade, which is quite different. But if you've got your time is running short for doing a swing or something, it works out very nice. Whether that's intentional or not, if you know what I mean.
Try girls run, Alaman left.
I was just looking at doing it without getting bogged down in the choreography, so I could paste it in the chat.
I was going to suggest quarter in.
Oh yeah, no, there's a number of ways to do it. I just didn't want to start putting that in.
Okay, that's fair.
Don't have a quarter in. That's not done, is it?
Well, it you know, when we're trying to make Teminations do it, anything's legal.
Okay.
Now, what I was doing was I was just trying to put it in the chat.
I see. Don, how much do you want from me?
Oh, one at a time. Let's just go around.
All right. I'm done.
Or one or two at a time. Oh, I was going to interject a comment here. Oh, a couple of mine use plus calls. Feel free to do that. A lot of us do plus regularly. Let's hear from Germany. Martin, you're next on my screen. Martin is with John, listening. Yolanda, have you got a favorite one memorized?
Well, I don't have it memorized. I've got it on my cue cue card. I don't know if this qualified. It is original though. I was trying to use moves that were the most basic and that flowed. So hopefully, right? So all 8 forward and back. Circle left and circle right.
Okay.
Single file promenade.
Yeah, it won't do it. I'm just writing it.
Okay.
Try writing face right.
Okay. All 8 make a left hand star.
Got it.
All 8 go back with a right hand star.
Type U turn back.
Back out, circle left halfway, and circle right halfway. Single file promenade.
Yep.
Boys, step up and promenade your partner. All eight wheel around. Wrong way promenade.
Sorry, was that everybody wheel around?
Yep, all 8 wheel around. Wrong way promenade.
How far?
Well, I go back out, circle left.
Yep.
Alaman left, right and left, grand, and promenade home.
Keeping the very nice basics and directional almost calling and getting everybody moving nicely. Very nice.
Well, we can do the Alaman left and promenade.
From here?
No, not from here.
Are the men going to turn back and do it? I'm thinking combinations. We should have had.
There we go. Perfect. Worked like a charm.
Mikael, you're representing Sweden today. I bet you got cute ones.
Yeah, a couple, but head square through 4. The corner box. Swing through. Spin chain through. Boys circulate. Recycle. Alaman left. Yes.
They're out of sequence.
Yes. No?
I'm sorry, they're not out of sequence, sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Alaman left.
Okay.
And
I'm just wondering where you want to go because Tamination doesn't. Oh, it is going to do it now. Okay.
So, right and left grand on your third hand. Swing promenade.
Spin the top.
Yes, that works fine.
Good.
Just doesn't do this on the third hand stuff. I don't think so. Let me just try something. No.
So Mel, try something. Copy the sequence.
Okay. Yeah.
Paste. Control V to paste it in there.
It's already in there.
Oh,
I
can
haven't
you
deleted
edit?
it.
Can you edit it? Get rid
Yeah.
of the, but on the third hand, and in front of it, add four ladies chain. And I can't. I've got it set up kind of small. So are you ending in a right and left grand?
Okay, so if I add the four ladies chain at the beginning, that's just to do the setup.
Yeah.
So that's what it looks like. Four ladies chain, head square through. So we got this. This is our standard cornered box. Right there. Swing through. Spin chain through.
Boys circulate
boys
while the
circulate.
girl's doing it, but contaminations won't do two at a time. That would have been nice.
Recycle. Alaman left, which is a nice direction change there. Right and left grand. There's your, that would normally be your third hand, which is right here on the third hand promenade.
Yeah. So a quick variation for contaminations. The third hand is the same as doing a four ladies chain at the beginning.
Yep.
Or at the end. Nice. Mark, have you got something to give us?
Good morning. No, the only one that comes to mind for me is from a corner box. Swing through. Boys trade. Right and left grand.
You got to do a girls circulate there.
Singing call, get out.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So keep it here. What other ways could we use this as a get out? We could do girls circulate like Mel suggested.
One of the classes of get outs that I have is a get out from a 3/4 tag, so you could just do extend in a right and left grand.
That was one of the ones I was thinking of. One of the ones I like just better because of the side couples aren't. Extend is easier for the dancer to do, but if you just say half circulate to a right and left grand, it has the outsides going towards their partner instead of standing next to them. But one time and one the next time. Or instead of girls circulate, you could have done boys circulate.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. And I saw that Eric just raised his hand and then lowered it, so I don't know what that means. But I think that might mean we should call on him.
Or else he's playing with his buttons.
No, I have a sequence that's built on what you, or uses what you were just doing. It's not something I would do early in the dance, but I do something like this frequently.
Let's see it.
All right. So from the static square, and I don't think you can do this exactly in Taminations, but anybody who wants to do a half sachet. Either
Sorry, hang on a second.
Yeah, all right.
You think it might do that, huh?
I don't know. We'll see.
Is that where we're going to be?
Yep.
All right, that's fine. All right.
Only the heads wanted to do it, so.
Yeah, no, that's fine. All right. Either the heads or the sides. This is what I would say to the dancers. Either the heads or the sides. You decide. Square through 4.
Does that initial sachet have to be symmetric?
No.
No.
Anybody who wants to. Swing through. All swing through. End circulate, centers trade. Everybody swing your own promenade.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how does that solve the non-symmetry? Let's say a head or a side sachet. Where do we resolve the non-symmetry there?
It'll work with one couple because you're doing all symmetrical flow. You're not changing the relationship positions on the floor. So the end circulate will keep everybody with their partner. End circulate, center straight. It's just that's the magic module. As long as you've got everything going, because once you set your square through 4, doesn't really matter. Your end circulate, center straight is going to bring that up.
And then everybody swing your partner. Doesn't matter which side they're on.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's the fun. That's a fun gimmick to do. Those who want to kind of thing. Of course, it confuses the dancer. Obviously, Eric, not an opening sequence.
No, I don't do this till later in the dance.
Yeah.
Somewhere towards the middle of the dance, I start doing either the heads or the sides, like do square through or pass the ocean.
Yeah.
Prior to doing something like this.
I want to throw in a quick one that Haminations doesn't know how to do. I want to get to a 0 line. Heads lead right, circle to a line, Mel. Okay, do it that way.
Do you want a 0 line exact?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
And this one Taminations doesn't do it, so I don't know if it's legal. Well, yes, Clark, I know Taminations isn't the bottom line. And and also there's a slight glitch to flow, but I think it's worth it because it takes them a little bit by surprise, and they all do it. If I can do it as the caller here. I think we all, or many of us, know to convert this to a 0 box. You don't do this, Mel. Do a touch a quarter, circulate, and boys run. But I want you to do a left touch a quarter. Circulate. And what I call here is boys courtesy turn the girls. Now, Taminations doesn't know how to do a courtesy turn from here, but if you call it courtesy turn from mini waves, the boys are going the couples will automatically end up in the direction of the original facing direction of the boys. I don't think they'll do it here, but the dancers will do it. Mel, if you just call boys, you turn back. Did they do it?
I just did a girls run.
Oh, okay. Girls run will do it. Or boys turn back and courtesy turn. The questionable thing is left Alaman's not great after a courtesy turn, but you could go on for other 0 box things there, but I just like the surprise of them thinking about this. What is he talking about? A courtesy turn? They just do it anyway, and there's the corner. Let's just get out of it quickly. So 0 lines, left touch a quarter, circulate. Men courtesy turn the girls, Alaman left. Let's see. Paul, you're next on my schedule here. You got something to share?
Sorry, I don't.
That's okay. Hope you're taking notes then. Chris, I know you've got something.
Actually, I didn't bring anything fancy, but I figured as long as I was here, I'd just offer a very simple and real easy level get in that might be of interest, especially to newer callers. So from a squared set, heads lead to the right and veer to the left and chain down the line. And flutter wheel. And there's a nice get in, or you could circle left, of course.
Mel, play that quickly so we can see how nicely it flows.
Yeah, this relates to your flow module idea.
Yeah. And everybody's moving to the left, sort of, so circle left would be good, or whatever zero line stuff you want. Nice, Chris. Cece, you're next on the list. Have you got something you want to share? I'm guessing dead silence means not quite right now. I've got I'm gonna give you Clark. Go ahead.
I found one quote opening biggie I wrote at Plus.
Does it get in, Clark?
It's a opener. It just gets you dancing. Walk around the corner. Seesaw.
Animations doesn't like that.
Yeah, seesaw partner.
Yep.
Alaman left.
That's a good one.
Well, but you got them walking and doing stuff.
I know.
All 8 spin the top. And then all 8 spin the top. Right and left grand. So not a big deal, but get some motion and hopefully is successful.
Yeah, if you're going to use that, you can use that as basic, just saying turn partner right, girl star left, boys promenade outside. Meet partner, turn partner right, boys star left, girls promenade outside.
Cool.
I just thought of when somebody was doing something before that this is neither a get out or a flow module, but when people teach Alaman bars, they frequently teach it with shoot the star the same night because they need a way to get out of the bars. I found that teaching slip the clutch instead of shoot the star is a lot easier. And making bars and the concept is one thing. Slip the clutch is a lot easier than figuring out you just drop hands and step ahead. But even easier than that, and I will use this at a dance, and if you're with your partner in the bar, that's cool. Otherwise, you just go from where you are. But just have the men do a U-turn back and promenade. That way you can only have to teach one thing that night, and not two that are too closely related. And everybody does it nicely, and again, you can go from where you are. Clark?
Based on how Mel took my sequence and made it directionally callable at basic, it made me think of one other call, which maybe you can directionally call, or maybe you just teach and use as a disposable experimental. From here, 4 ladies chain, 3/4. And while that's happening, I want the men to promenade 1/4.
Right.
Does that have a name?
Well, what I'm about to put in will have a name, but I'm not quite done. But I bet you can call that and the dancers will do it. If you
Yeah.
said 4 ladies chain 3/4, men promenade 1/4, then it will be courtesy turn your partner, correct?
Yep.
And at that point, you're going to say promenade 1/4. So as they're courtesy turning, you're going to have them promenade 1/4. At that point, everyone's across the square from where they started. Exactly.
In sequence with partners, yeah.
Right. And then just repeat that whole mess a second time. And that whole thing has a name. You don't have to tell them the name. And it has great flow and great kinesthetic feel and is a great kind of opener or break in a singing call or something. I'll think of what its name is in a minute, but it's not coming to me.
I was
Chris
going to
might
say I'm
remember.
not finding the name.
Yeah.
What was it again, real quick?
4 ladies chain 3/4, men promenade 1/4, turn your partner promenade 1/4. That's the thing. And then do it a second time.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't remember.
Yep. But
Yeah, that would flow nicely. in
But
time.
even the 4 ladies chain 3/4, men promenade 1/4, again, interesting things that taminations can't do, but the dancers can, is a way of adding variety without difficulty.
Yeah. I've got a plus get out that I picked up at Color Lab once when Kip Garvey and Bill Davis had a session on Getouts. Some woman contributed this, and very recently on one of the Facebook groups, somebody was asking for Getouts, and eventually somebody came up with something close to this, or maybe even this. But I still like it. Let's have the head square through. Again, this is plus. I think I said that. It'll feel different to the dancers, but pretty much they'll handle it. I start a lot from here, or I guess the next two. Some of you started with a corner box out of sequence. I like to include the right and left through as part of it because you're starting here. But do a right and left through. Touch 1/4. And then I'll be telling the dancers, check a wave centers trade. Those centers run, or any centers you got. 3/4 tag the line to a right and left grand. And despite being pretty much what was I going to say? And promenade home. Despite being non-standard arrangements and that kind of stuff, dancers flow into it and seem to do okay. Why don't you have it dance through now, or when they get home, and let's just watch the flow of it. Right hand's available, right hand pretty available. Centers, if you give them a clue to look for the centers, and those centers run, and it works out pretty nicely. Anyone else?
And on that, even if they're not comfortable with a 3/4 tag, if you've got a floor that is a little bit weak and you don't dance 1/4 tag or 3/4 tag, just prompt 3/4 tag to the partner and they'll go to where they need to go.
Or half tag and extend. Daryl?
Ooh.
From here again, from your corner box, just a little shortening of what you're doing there, and maybe a little simpler for the newbie callers. A right and left through. half sachet, pass through, shake hands, a right and left grand. It just shortens things up a little bit there, and it makes it a little simpler to remember.
One that I like that has real nice body flow, but it really requires, you can leave them on that corner box, that has, it's tight, but it's worth it because it flows nicely, and you can generally get dancers through it because it's alternating hands. And I just warn them a little in the process, don't worry, it's tight. Used to be mainstream, now it's plus because it's a fan the top in it. But from here, do a right and left through, then Dixie style to a wave. I like to start it here because the Dixie style starts nicely from that after the courtesy turn. And Taminations doesn't show this well because they don't breathe well enough. Fan the top is what I was trying to say. And do a left allemande.
I like that.
And run it through, Mel, so we can see it happen. By the way, Mel, I've made an abbreviation, ALP, Allemande Left and Promenade. Yeah. And I just type ALP.
I know. I've got a lot of abbreviations. I don't use them. I type faster than I do abbreviations. And always have to hunt and peck, and everybody uses different abbreviations all the time. You pretty much got to program your own. I just find it easier to type them out.
Can you run that again? Because I've got to admit I was talking and not watching it flow. Again, I think Taminations is a little bit crunched on breathing, but
it is. Here they would go out, and that would expand a little bit more.
But that flows nicely, and they can handle it even though it's tight. And fan the top from the kind of a wave, no problem, because they're flowing into it. And I think that was a Don Beck original, but I don't know. Anyone else? Oh, Mikhail, you must have another one. Then we'll hate you, Dan.
Okay. So I think if you have a zero box or corner box, I was thinking about doing like swing through. Scoot back. Extend. Centers, recycle. Allemande left.
Nice.
So, one thing I was thinking about when it comes to doing this kind of thing, I was thinking about an X call for mental image thinking, and then you just have boys, with a head man facing in. So I can just vary my figure a bit if you want to.
Can you run through that one for us, Mel?
Sorry.
Let him dance it again.
I like that it leaves the outsides hanging after the extend, maybe wondering, what do I do? But if they don't understand, pretty quick, boom, there's the Allemande left.
And even if they turn to face in, they're going to get the Alaman left, and they're not standing there very long. It's very nice.
I'm gonna add one thing on here if I can. You just prompted me something because I noticed that we're doing a lot of this. What I like is there's a mix of right and left grand. There's a mix of Alaman left. One of the things that I find most tiring, and a lot of dancers have said that they just hate, especially at the mainstream level, and sometimes at the plus level, is everything is to a right and left grand or everything is to home. It is annoying as hell. It's not fun. It's not a surprise if that's all you ever do. They like to have that Alaman left. They like to have that, even if it's an Alaman left in the promenade to a square the set. And so in that vein, what I was thinking was, I do heads, square through. So you've got that. So swing through, girls circulate, men trade, tag the line, face left. And that, of course, that didn't work. I've done something wrong there. Yeah.
I'm hoping you don't tag the line from a right-hand wave.
That's what I didn't. That's what girls circulate, men trade, boys run. Okay, then you can do a partner trade in promenade, or you can do all sorts of different things like that. This would be, but from a right-hand box out of sequence as well. There you could do a run, but you could also do a heads, star through, centers pass through. So from the RBO, swing through, girls circulate, boys trade. Tag the line. I was only mentioning because we did a lot of resolve to right and left grand, a lot of resolve to right and left grand, a couple of Alaman lefts from the Dixie style or from the left-hand wave. I'd like to see a couple of resolves to a trade by Alaman left as well. Oops, shit. Sorry, excuse my language.
Must be an Australian thing. Or it's a Canadian. The first part was Australian and the apology was Canadian.
Can't be Canadian. You didn't say
I'm just putting it in the chat. I won't retype it. It was just a thought.
All right, I got a couple more.
Go for it.
This one's from a square. These are all complete biggie sequences. And so from a squared set, heads fan the top. These are plus, by the way. And a ping pong circulate. And as the centers are coming in, they do a fan the top into a right and left through. And you've stirred the bucket, or you, of course, you could circle left, I guess, if you wanted. But there's a nice stir the bucket one. Yeah. Messing around in the other window here. All right, so want to go on to the next one?
Sure.
All right. This is a opening biggie at plus. So it's heads are right and left through, and lead to the left, and veer to the right, and crossfire.
Ooh, that's a bit different.
That's +1/2.
And the boys run. There you go.
Right and left grand. Nice.
No, you do U-turn back and Alaman left for Mel.
How about a turn through?
There you go. I wrote something the other day that has just the centers do a left turn through and everybody do an Alaman left. But I can't, I don't remember what it was. I'm not sure what I did with it.
Although that's not difficult, that veer right crossfire,
Yeah.
I like that because it's nice and simple, and then you don't go anywhere from that. That simple boys run, you're into a right and left grand. You've almost got nowhere to fail because it's so fast. And if they're moving, they're going to do it before they have time to think about it successfully.
Yeah, and that boys run there feels like it's one of those things where I'd be concerned about it because it might end up in overflow, but it happens so smoothly into that right and left grand.
I just thought of another one that I used to use, and I've heard others using also. Mel, if you'll square our sets. I'm trying to think of the terminology. And across the street box, I don't know, just have the heads past the ocean. Extend. Either recycle and sweep a quarter or linear cycle, whichever is easier for you to type.
Sorry, what was that?
Recycle and sweep a quarter or a linear cycle, whichever is easier for you to type. So basically, what would you call this? Right-hand lady line? I don't know. But, you know, the kind of thing where you could square through 4, trade by to the corner. Let's have the centers square through 3. And while you're calling that, you have the ends square through 1. Or have the ends pass through, but just for termination's sake. And you can call an Alaman left from here. So once you have that line set up where you can do a square through 4 to a trade by, or where you could do a pass through to a trade by, you know, and slide through to make lines. You do center square through 3 while the ends square through 1, Alaman left. It's makes them think a little, but or think they're doing something special, but they're not. Daryl, were you the one I said we're going to do them one at a time, and all of a sudden we haven't gotten back to you while others have done more than one? You got another one you want to contribute?
Yeah, just slip something in again. For the newer callers, something that you might use once a night, there again. If you're going to say Ferris wheel to a square through 3, now this is something you can do instead of square through 3. For the average dancer out there at a mainstream dance, I might say, excuse me. Oh, I might say touch 1/4, box circulate, everybody face left, and Alaman left. Now this is in the center.
Sorry, yeah, I'm with you. Sorry about that.
If you want to take them to a right-hand lady box, in other words, heads star through, pass through, and then a right and left through, veer left, Ferris wheel, and they'll be in the position that they. Now everybody's familiar with that figure, I think, because you're going to square through 3 and don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, I've got the centers on the wrong side. That's all.
Centers Not a right and left through.
You want him to do a square through 3 in the middle, don't you?
No, I want you to back up that right that you're beginning to. Yes.
Yeah, they're in a pass through to an Alaman left, not a square through 3 to an Alaman left.
We didn't start with a head square through. I'm sorry. It was a head star through, pass through.
Sorry about that.
Okay, we have the right-hand lady box at that point, out of sequence for the new callers. For the newer callers, all this right-hand lady boxes and everything might or might not be familiar to you. Okay, swing through, if you would, please. Boys, sorry if I'm going too fast. Boys run. Ferris wheel. Now that's a very simple figure, and from there it would be your square through 3. Don't do it, Mel, but that would be your square through 3 to the Alaman left, or to swing the corner. Don't do it, please.
I'm not.
Okay. Touch 1/4.
Hi, Missy.
Box I'm sorry, centers touch 1/4.
Yeah, I got that.
Box circulate. Box circulate. And at this point, you can call an Alaman left, but I don't typically say Alaman left. There's a reason why I said box circulate 2 times rather than box circulate twice. I separated the commands intentionally. And then when I got to this point, I say, everybody look left. It's just talking to the center dancers and Alaman left. Here again, there's no way that they could miss finding that corner. But you presented it in a way that it's a little bit tricky, just tricky enough that it becomes interesting for the typical dancer out there.
Daryl, if you, without saying the face left, if you call the Alaman left just slightly early, they're heading for their corner with their left hand right there.
That's what I say. You could call an Alaman left, but I intentionally separated. I could say, okay, in the center box, circulate twice, and Alaman left. It's not going to have the same effect as saying box circulate, everybody look left, Alaman left. Now, that doesn't have that continuous flow, but you know, this choreography stuff, and particularly when you come to these get out type stuff, it isn't about the flow sometimes as much as the shot, isn't it? I mean, there's lots of good stuff that you can call it does flow, but every once in a while, you need to kind of take advantage of things that you can and can't expect from the dancers.
Clark.
This is where you thank Don for the talk and say we can leave if we want to.
I forgot. An hour went by quickly. This is where I say thank you guys for coming, contributing, Dan for hosting. And if you want to leave without making excuses, back up 10 minutes and leave. Did that mean you wanted to leave, Clark?
No, I'm good. I just wanted to note the time.
Oh, I saw it about 15 minutes ago, and then I lost track and got fascinated again. I came up with something, not I came up with, at one of my mental image classes a couple of weeks ago, somebody saw something, and I realized it's kind of an easy to spot get out for either mental imagers or site callers or module, wherever you want to be. But Mel, can you make us some partner lines, heads lead right circle to a line, or whatever you want to do?
I just put one in there just to. It just twigged on me after that. The square through 3, the half sashade square through that Dan was talking about at the beginning. From that to a do passo right into the promenade as well.
Oh, very nice.
And the other one that was when you were talking shoot the star. I do a lot of left arm turn, go forward 1, or left arm turn, go forward 1, turn this girl right, and then I'll do the Alamandar going the other way around. Long before I'll do a shoot the star, I'll do those arm turns with the stars and directional turns long before I teach shoot the star. It just seems to work better and the reason is I twigged on that because one of the callers that was doing the SSD program used a lot of DARs, but it's not in the SSD program. But arm turns are in night 1, and they use a lot of Alamandar type figures. You know, they just say, boys make a right hand star but back up instead of going forward, hold on girl, and you know, all these things, and it works for them. So it was just when Clark talking about directionally calling from the plus into the basic and mainstream. It works as well going mainstream or basics into the SSD program as well. It's just innovation for the callers. Sorry to interrupt, Don. I just want to get that out while I was thinking.
That's fine.
John's got his hand up.
Well, let me.
Sure.
John, were you stretching or did you want to talk?
Oh, I actually found a resolution that I did for one of Mel's exercises I could throw out there just to participate.
Let me finish this one I just started off and then do that. Nobody leave until John's done. So we have 0 lines, partner lines. Mel, do a right and left through and a slide through. So most of us know that we could do a pass through to an Alaman left here. Don't do it. All right, you're just saying it. So when you're in a position where you could do a pass through to an Alaman left, you can call it wrong way grand. It's just a quick place to hit a wrong way grand when you're doing a now if you let's try something because I know
It's funny it won't do an Alaman left from there.
Are we out of sequence? No, we're
No.
in sequence.
The pull by left him in a really funny place from Tamination's point of view.
You can do a promenade. No, you can't even do that. Face in and promenade home.
Yeah. No, I was just finishing
Yeah.
the sequence up so I could post it in the chat.
Right. But so basically any place, well, it's not any place you can do a pass through to an Alaman left. You don't do the pass through a wrong way grand. And an example, let me show you an example that it doesn't work. So we got to figure out how to say which works and which doesn't. But do a square your set.
I can do that.
Nicely done. Heads right and left through. Heads slide through. If I did a pass through to an Alaman left, I can't call a wrong way grand from here. Actually, I probably could. The sides,
No.
I think, would know what to do.
No,
No, we can't. No, so it's got to be if you do a pass through to a trade by formation, Alaman left.
Yeah.
Daryl, what have you got to say? John, sorry, we'll get to you.
I don't know. It may have something to do with being in a partner box in sequence or out of sequence. Well, the difference, Dom, would be between your Alaman 3 and your Alaman 4 in your
Right.
mental.
In mental image, if you were going to do a pass through to an Alaman 2 or 4, don't do the pass through and it works. I was trying to figure in non-mental image terms how to do that.
Well, it's a matter of partner box, partner lines, and what have you, rather than corner box, corner lines, which are your 2 Alaman formations, maybe not your two Allen and left numbers, but the formations.
Chris, is that relative to this conversation, or you got something new? Because if you got something new, it's John's turn.
It's not for this exact one, but it's another quick hint on using the mental image for these kind of things.
Okay, hang on, let John go, because he's been holding for a while. Now he took a nap.
Oh wow, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's heads lead right, circle to a line. All right, we got pass through, bend the line.
Partner lines out of sequence.
Yeah, hopefully. Swing through, boys cross run. All right, girls trade, boys run, girls trade. All right, wheel and deal. Box the net. Pass through, bend the line. Element left, promenade home.
Nice.
That was one of those ones I wrote up for one of Mel's exercises. I think we had there's one of those, we had a call we had to use all the way through. I don't remember what this one, it might have been cross run or something.
Let's see that. Let's see it run, Mel. Combinations makes that circle to a line look awkward.
You should teach combinations the circle and slide version of circle up four to a line.
Yeah, I'm glad you ran it. I was waiting for this.
You know, I think you like it. What?
Yeah, the boys run where they run from an end to a center followed by wheel and deal is a common no-no.
Well,
for
that's why
flow
I'm a
reasons.
newbie. That's why I'm trying to be a newbie caller.
Yes, well, that says newbie caller right there. That's okay.
Okay.
But
Well, let's see it and watch why. So the boys cross run. Whoops.
Yeah, I think this is from a couple years ago.
That's actually not that bad from the title line because although they're running into the center, because they're in the lines, they've got lots of room, and if they do the wheel and deal with a step forward, that actually flows quite well. It is going to be a different flow for a lot of dancers, but it's not an uncomfortable flow other than the ladies doing a side step forward. Because if we do a girls trade, boys run, and then they're going forward into the wheel and deal. If they take it as a step forward, that's not actually that awkward. It'd be difficult to dance because it's an unusual setup.
Mel, do you have a scroll wheel on your mouse?
Yep.
I found that using the scroll wheel, I can sort of move nicely, smoothly through the calls with pretty good control.
So if we get to the partner line, partner line out of sequence, and we're at a wave, it looks like, oh, come on, I tried to pick up the mouse and do it didn't work. Okay, so we got a swing through. Okay, boys run left. That would cause a problem, but because it's broken up with the ladies trade, there's a pause for the boys. Boys run. Now they're just going to go forward. So it's just a side step forward for the girls. That ladies trade in there makes the whole difference on that, I think.
I'm gonna have to try this because I've got a group where I need to do a little bit of workshopping on wheel and deal from title lines, and yeah, I'll see how the flow is, but it just doesn't look bad for me.
Dan, did you have something you were going to do, or
I got a couple of things.
give
The
us
first,
one, and then we'll let Chris tell us about what he was going to talk about.
well, the first is just a really simple for newer callers because it was a revelation for me. You know that if you've got a heads lead right kind of box, you can do a swing through right and left grand.
Yeah.
No great thing there. The other was from an across the street. Well, I'll let Mel finish demonstrating this. And actually, why don't we let Chris go before the next one, because the next one is probably going to engender a bunch of conversation.
Okay, I'm on, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just a couple of notes for people who might be studying mental image. All the ones that I contributed were ones that I did on mental image originally, and then I'm like, oh, that's not bad. I'll write it down. And but you can make up ones on mental image either to use, before you can work them out beforehand before the dancer. You can do them on the fly a lot. But the trick is, if you want to do one of the right and left grand type get-outs, what you want to do is call an X in the middle, like a lead to the right or a head lady's chain or something like that, or any any adornment that you want to do, and then bring them over to whichever side you want. Doesn't really matter, because the X in the middle means they have their partners, from a squared set. And so once they're over there, then just look for calls that you can use to cancel the X on that side, and you can get them right over to the Alaman spot or the right and left grand spot that's on that side. So it's X in the middle, cancel it not in the middle but on one of the sides where he is, and that's how you can. That's the strategy for making up a right and left grand get out. The other kind of one that you can do.
Sorry, Chris,
Yeah.
before you go on that, can you give us just an example? So if I had a heads lead right box.
Yeah, that's an X in the middle. Why don't you go ahead and do that one? And we'll do an example that we know everybody's very familiar with. So swing through is an X, and we're gonna do it on the side now, not in the middle. So swing through, and there he is right on that spot. If you were to have them, step backwards, you'd see that he's on the spot by the ocean wave rule. So that's
It's typing the word cross instead of X. I just wanted to write it down so that you've got the sequence when people go to review it. I think Dan's going to put these notes.
Oh, heck yes, I am.
So I'm just that's why I'm typing and finishing sequences that you guys may not be saying.
The other one that's normally you think of canceling the X. You want to get to the O, an O. So you got both, two X's, one in the middle, one on the side. But the other kind of resolve you can do is, interestingly enough, has an X. If you just make an X in the middle, so do like head lady's chain. And then we wouldn't actually call this because of the flow, but heads lead to the left. Oh, sorry. Yep. Is that what I really wanted? Wait a minute. Yeah, that's what I really wanted. Yes, that's right. Okay, so
that's a corner box.
Yeah, and
okay.
Or not yeah. So did I do that right? Yeah. We do the ladies.
That's not an X in the middle though. That's an O.
Oh yeah, no, we didn't do the X in the middle. Yeah, sorry. Don't do the lead there. Yeah, undo that. Yeah. Yeah, I knew I was screwing that up. Just the head lady's chain. Leave. So that's an X in the middle, and we're going to leave it that way. And now do head square through 4. I guess is what I'm really trying to say. Is that what I'm trying to say? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You're trying.
Yeah. So do head square through 4, or heads star through in California twirl, same thing, something like that. So the thing is, we still have an X here, and we're not going to cancel it. But look at this trick. Here we are, and so X in the middle from there means he's got his partner, right? So she's coming along with him wherever. But this time we're not going to cancel it. Everybody veer left. This isn't a spectacular sequence, but it'll illustrate the principle. Okay, do a partner trade. And see, so we have that. So we have the X still, the uncanceled X in the middle. But from here, when you put him on this spot, now you can do a promenade. So that was just the other observation I was gonna. So those are sort of the two.
I would venture to say that does actually cancel the X, because you've only moved the ladies across, but you're not changing you're not moving you're only moving the head ladies back because you're moving the side ladies over.
No, trying to figure out what an X means is something that I never do. I just know which calls are X's and which are O's, and if I work them out for some new call that nobody ever figured that out before, I don't work it out. I don't attempt to work it. Usually, attempt to work it out from principles. And different mental image systems and different formulations are gonna have different theories about what X's and O's are.
Yeah. No. The way I was looking at it is, if I did I'm in this setup. I've got the heads lead left.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's my X in the middle.
Yeah.
If I had just the heads veer left, I'm canceling the X. So I'm not actually changing the relative position of the sides. All I'm doing is just changing a geographic footprint. So I'm just basically canceling the X in the middle, but having all four couples move at the same time.
Well, yeah, but if you do, but if you were to do veer to the left and trade by, you would for sure know that you're not that
yes,
you
absolutely.
still have an uncanceled X. So I wouldn't think of it as canceling the X.
Like I said, mental image is not my forte. I was just looking at that because it wasn't changing the relative position of the sides, just they're sliding sideways. So they're moving across the equator. Both couples both genders are moving. So it's
The magic of mental image to me, and the whole point of it, is that I never have to think about how it works or figure anything out. It's just very simple. Most of the calls are O's, and they don't have any effect other than you always have to track the one guy around the place, of course. But you never think about where the partner is. I'm just making that commentary, just as a sort of an illustration of it. But it's basically it's just magic, and so once you know what the X's and O's are, X in the middle and cancel it on the side for right and left grand, or the other little special trick is don't cancel it, but I'll bring him back over to that promenade type position, and you can promenade from there, even though there's an uncanceled X.
Daryl, I'm going to put you on hold for just a second because I want to comment on something that Chris was saying. Mel, if you square your set, in the mental image classes, and this can be used without mental image too, but any place you can do an Alaman left, if everybody does a U-turn back, you can do a right and left grand. And here's an example I was going to use as a get out before. Do a head square through. Swing through, boys, run. So we could do a wheel and deal, but don't. Instead, do a tag the line and face right. Do a wheel and deal from here. So we could do a pass through, U-turn back to an Alaman left, but we're just going to do a pass through to a right and left grand. So he's right where he would have been for an Alaman left, except everybody did a U-turn back. And that can be done from any place, just about any place you can do an Alaman left. Have them somehow do a U-turn back other than just U-turn back. Do a left turn through, and that's the same as an Alaman left. Daryl, go ahead. You've been waiting almost patiently.
Just a couple of things here. I hear the wife is up, so I'm going to have to go be a cook right quick here. But one, the discussion between Mel and Chris, you're talking two different systems. Mental image, your relativity is to one of four different elemental lefts. That's what your X's and O's are relative to. Mel, I believe yours was just saying they all have their partners, so there has not been a partner change.
No. I was looking at like a ladies' chain. You've got one gender of the bearing crossing the equator. On the veer to the left, yeah, you've got them both, but the sides because of relative position. But I was adding a dimension onto it, which would cloud the issue. So after Chris explained it, I withdrew that.
Excuse me. You had a two-phase line, and everybody had their partner in a two-phase line.
Yeah, no, I realized that. What I was talking about is before the veer to the left. If I did a heads lead left.
All right. That's for anybody that isn't in a mental image, it wouldn't mean much anyway.
Yeah.
But what I did type up, because, and I hope I've got this right. For me, a lot of the gimmicky get out stuff has to do with the presentation. And I'm trying to decide which one of these I want to do. I think I'm going to do this one, and you can figure out whether it's any good or not. From a partner line out of sequence, in other words, heads lead left, which I would not call from a static square. There are other ways of doing it, but hello, how did we get there?
You wanted a partner line out of sequence.
He did a head lead left, veer right, bend the line.
I did not listen.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Let me get to it. Step to a wave. Recycle. Veer left. Ferris wheel. Everybody veer left.
I don't know if it'll do that.
I don't know if it will either.
No.
Okay, but the dancers will do it even though Taminations won't. Then I would call center couples, extend. I know that that's an iffy thing, but they will do it. And then everybody veer right. I think that's, yeah, let's see here. Oh, excuse me. After the extend, it's a half tag.
Okay, see you there?
Yeah, do your half tag. Everybody face right to a right and left grand. And I'll say what I'll be hooked on this. Everybody do this. Everybody centers. And the thing of it there again is it isn't particularly for the flow and all of that stuff. It's for the delivery. You can say everybody face right to a right and left grand. You can say everybody face left, do an element left. Same old place. Can I give you one more?
Go for it.
All right. Here again, heads. Let me make sure I've got the one here. Okay, heads lead left. Step to a wave. Are you with us, Mel?
Yep.
Everybody recycle. Everybody veer left. Everybody Ferris wheel. Centers veer left. Everybody veer right. Oh, excuse me. Back that one. Centers veer right. Everybody veer right. Everybody veer left. Alaman left. Or, like Don said, you can do U-turn back, right and left grand.
You mean everybody Alaman left?
Right, everybody Alaman left. Sorry, Don. But just for programming crazy stuff. That's now I don't typically try to read this stuff. I look for a particular phaser, and when it's there, I just go ahead and use it. But that's based on that partner box, in or out of sequence. The main thing I'm looking for is I want to have everybody in a box with their partner on one end or the other, and then I can create it from there, just with an X, if you will, please. And then get into the beers as they'll work. With that, I do have to say goodbye, everybody. This has been fun. It really has. Very interesting. Good material and flowing out there. I've got to go to work.
Say hello to Yvonne for me. So I have a question for everybody. No, I have a question for those people that didn't contribute something.
So Dan's still on the hook here too.
Well, sure, but you know, I'm always on the hook. Go ahead with your question, Don.
I'm being the MC here. I'm just wondering if this kind of, because before we lose more than just Daryl, if this kind of thing has been useful to those people that didn't have them, this type of discussion. Should we have more things like this? Was this helpful, or was it beyond, or was it just we experienced people having fun?
It has been very helpful for me. Every time Mel pastes something in there, I'm copying and pasting it and saving in my own list.
Oh, that's you, Mark. Okay.
Yes, I found it very helpful.
Good. Good. Maybe we should do something like this again. I had another comment, but that's for later. I can't even. Oh, I know what it was, but no. Go ahead, Dan. Mine's off totally.
All right. Well, given the comment about copying and pasting and newer callers, I'm going to throw two in there. The first one is really simple and quick, and it's just from from partner lines. So heads lead right and circle to a line or whatever. Touch a quarter. Oh, sorry, undo. Though I was doing this morning when I was playing with this. Slide through. Touch a quarter. Centers trade and the centers run. Half tag. And a right and left grand.
Nice. Now let's go back and see what that was. Heads lead right, circle to a line. By the way, Dan, if you're fast enough, when you make a mistake like touch a quarter and you want to slide through first, you say touch a quarter after a slide through.
Nice.
People have used that for calls that couldn't be done from that, lines of four, forward and back, wheel and deal after a pass through.
Right.
Although you could wheel and deal from there.
Yeah, that ranks right up there with heads square through. Or sorry, heads right and left through. Square through forehand sides.
Clark?
They take a page out of Tim Mariner's book there.
When I make that mistake, especially when it's a call they can't do, I use the phrase, but first, and then the call that I meant to do.
I've called things like heads watch the sides square through for. Slightly better than heads. I mean sides.
So Don suggested that we play this back.
Thought I did, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's not playing. I don't know what. Oh, there we go.
So lead right, circle to a line, slide through, touch a quarter, centers trade, centers run, half deck. Yeah, nice.
And then here's the other one that as soon as this finishes playing, we can go into that I know I've done. Yeah.
A quick insertion here. When I'm doing the mental image classes, I don't let you say undo. I let say dance them around back to that same position, but keep the dancers moving. It was not necessary here, but it's something that is an easy thing to do and keeps dancers going.
I was going to throw in mental note for the new callers. When you've got the same-sex lines or waves or whatever, like on that boy girl thing, the magic thing that you want to do when you want to get back to something normal, half tag is your friend.
Yeah.
So what's your second one?
The second one, and I think we actually did this in your mental image class once, but across the street box, so like heads past the ocean and extend.
You want them in waves?
It doesn't matter. You know, it's either we're either going to do a hinge or a touch a quarter. Touch a quarter, yeah. Touch a quarter and the centers trade and the centers run. And then obviously there are a number of ways to get here. This is the way that I was super proud of because I came up with it in the middle of the night, but it has some flow issues. Circulate, Ferris wheel, and the girls in the middle pass through, which, you know, obviously we're going on overflow already here. Touch a quarter, extend, and a right and left grand.
Nice.
And the challenge here, and I've worked this through with a couple of different squares, is that those head boys are spinning, have a lot of rightward momentum, and so they never look the right way. So here's a different option on how to get kind of the same process once we run through this.
It's actually not that bad for the boys.
Yeah, it's right here because those head boys have been turning right a lot, and they never they always stutter and don't look left for their partner.
Yeah, well, what I was looking at was you've got a right turn here.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a right turn here. You've got a stop. You've got a right-hand dodge, which is a side slide, which is not a flow issue. You got a forward, a turning issue. And then, from here around, and then a turning issue. It's not really that bad for overflow.
Okay.
So if just watch the head boy. You've got right, forward, right, stop, left dodge, forward. Now you've got a right pivot and a pause.
Mm-hmm.
An extend, which is a straight ahead to the corner, which is actually, because it's not really a straight ahead, it's a forward to the left for the right and left grand. That's not overflow at all.
He's just saying that the guy never sees his partner after the extend. That final extend, he doesn't want to look left and find his partner.
Yeah, well, I would call that extend to the partner right and left grand. Just
Right.
as a prompt for success, but I know what you mean.
And, you know, obviously use your 3/4 tag right and left grands with judicious restraint.
In the old days, that would be slip the clutch. When we had slip the clutch for motion waves, or as Don called earlier, half circulate. What if you do your whole thing and just replace the final extend with half circulate?
That works rather nicely.
Or if you start the whole mess out of sequence, then you can change that circulate to a circulate once and a half. Because I don't like half circulate. That's just too quick and not saying much. But if it's a circulate once and a half, that's a good thing.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
So put something at the beginning so the end needs a circulate once and a half after that touch a quarter.
That's cool. Yeah, and then the modular caller in me is always thinking about ways that I can remember on the fly to do that other ways. And I'm always trying to find ways to get, when I've got boy, boy, girl, girl waves, to get the boys on the, or not boy, boy, girl, girl waves, boy, boy, girl, girl lines, to get the boys on the left side. So after a wheel and deal, they're outside.
And I wanted to point out what got your sequence into the awkward sex arrangement was the touch a quarter or the touch a quarter centers trade. In the past, we've gotten out of it with tag the lines or half tags. This time you got out of it with a separate touch a quarter. So you use touch a quarter to get you in trouble, and then later the touch a quarter to get you out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question that's totally off the subject. So I'm just curious if we have any more comments on the subject before I ask this question that's been that I've been curious about for several days. Any other, Clark?
I'll say one or two things. So almost all the material I used to write was challenge material. And at some point in my life, I invented resolve tables where from wherever you were, you would look it up on this table and it would give you a page of 50 getouts, 10 at each dance program. And these were computed by a computer which didn't know flow or hands. So you'd have to quickly scan them and go, this is garbage, this is garbage. I could modify this or whatever. At some point, we have calls like, scoot back, but there's also scoot chain through, which combines scoot back and spin chain through-y type stuff. And there's certain things if you can tag the line, you can flip the line. And there were all sorts of combinations. And the resolve table thing kind of got to the point where almost no matter where you were with some sort of flip chain through, cross reactivate, promenade home. It had some really complicated thing that callers would never have seen in the old days, but they could do it would do enough machination that it would be a 1 or 2 call get out. And initially we thought those were really clever. But the more of them we did, even though it took a computer to find them, the less the dancers were enthused about it. Because if they were going along dancing a sequence and then heard some complicated, tag chain through nuclear reaction, right and left grand, as soon as they heard you call that, they go, it's going to be a right and left grand. And it kind of threw away the cleverness of it. So that's kind of just an interesting evolution of really clever get outs that needed computers to find them, that kind of morphed into, oh, it's just that computer thing that's going to a right and left grand. Who cares? So thought I'd mention that.
We get clever and then we get too clever. Interesting. It's a dancer perception we've talked about with other things too. It's not a surprise anymore.
I remember those tables. I used those. I forgot about them all this time until just now. That's right.
Let me ask my question that's off the subject, but I've been thinking about. If I have an Alamandar, can I call scoot back?
No.
No.
Why not?
Because you don't have a box.
Extend, trade, and extend.
You don't do extend from a thar.
Extend around the corner. Well, that depends on the definition of.
So if you were doing 8 couple dancing or 16 couple dancing and you had a thar, so it's almost a circle, then yeah, you could call scoot back. But I think a 8 dancer thar it's too tight around the corner for the dancers to consider that something that you can extend or scoot back or follow your neighbor. I don't think you can do any of those box calls from there.
I mean,
Wasn't that the kind of thing you did with sects, I think you called them?
with what?
Sects, S-E-C-T-S. I seem to remember some Thursday a million years ago, and you were showing us sects, and I think they were ways of designating boxes out of ours.
I don't remember that. So I guess I could call slip the clutch, all 8 swing and slip the clutch.
I have no idea how to eliminate those markups, Cece.
I believe Cece's got to do it.
I don't know how I did that. I'm sorry.
So if you go to view options and annotate, you can use your eraser on them, but I can't use my eraser on them.
You're talking about those green lines on the screen?
Yeah.
I have
I thought so. That's somebody else doing that when I'm sharing. Is it?
Yeah.
I have
where I don't even see them on my screen.
I have been trying for months to figure out how I'm doing that. What am I doing?
I have the pin open and erased, but I don't see any marks.
Oh dear.
I don't.
Mel can also unshare and reshare real quick, and that'll erase them.
I have no. So on my screen, there's no marks. I am so sorry.
No,
it happens when I do too many things at one time, right?
The only reason it caught my eye real fast is, and then I noticed it was you doing it, and it was like, okay, she's just fumbling around, is that is often a prelude to somebody Zoom bombing. They're usually, in other meetings, it's like, oh, somebody's about to draw a swastika on the screen. I have to find out who they are and boot them.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What? I have some green lines every once in a while. Is that the same ones you're talking about, Mel, or what?
Every now and then on when I'm on share screen, I'll get lines or somebody will draw a circle around dancers. And I kept thinking it was me doing it with my mouse. And I've been trying, see like that little bit in the bottom corner there? And I'm trying to figure out, how the hell am I doing that? And I have been going nuts trying to figure out how to undo that.
Oh, wow. And how did that happen?
So up under view options on your screen here, you have the option of annotate.
And it's right now, it shows that it's Clark doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's different green lines than I have. No problem.
But yeah, one of my other.
Well, at least I could be useful in teaching something.
Woohoo!
Where does it say annotate? I'm
up under it's right to the right of you are viewing Mel Wilkerson's screens. There's a view options pull down. And under that pull down, there's an annotate. And one of the other meetings I do has a slightly political bent to it. And so we've been Zoom bombed twice by somebody who drops in and draws swastika on the screens and starts playing Russian martial music in the background.
And can I do that? Can I do that on my own? Or is it somebody else?
I don't see where it says you're viewing Mel's screen. Where's that?
Up at the top of your Zoom screen here.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Oh, maybe.
This would be
top of your screen.
The view window. Is the view window in the way?
The top of your screen, it says view options. Click that, and then they'll bring down a little drop-down menu, and you select annotate.
The top of the Zoom window, not the top of the screen.
Yeah, which is often the top of the screen if we have it.
I don't have that on my. Where is this view options things? Because that would definitely come in handy when you're indicating things.
I don't know. It might not show up on yours.
Oh, I see. It's way
on
it's
mine.
way up at the top.
Like on mine, I've got this.
Mine is up where on the Macintosh.
Okay.
Mine is up is kind of glued to the very top in the middle of the menu bar.
And while we have all of these people talking over each other, somebody who is unmuted now has radio or TV playing in the background.
Let's listen.
I suspect it's Paul. There we go. Thank you, Paul.
Well, it did say Radio Vancouver, so that narrows it down a bit.
Mel, my bet is since you are the guy sharing the screen, you don't have the little banner we have that says
No, I
you are viewing Mel's screen view options.
Yeah, what I found out is up in the I've got actually, because I'm sharing, there's a little ink marker that says annotate.
There you go.
And it
Yep.
gives me a whole drawing palette to play with.
Yes. Once I start drawing, I had the palette that included the eraser.
Wow.
DC. That's how I found my eraser.
And I have unleashed a monster, apparently.
Yeah, this is great.
Okay,
I can't wait for next week, Don.
just as a note, Mark, you posted this one here to me. This little sequence here from a corner box. If it's flipped, you had a right and left through and a roll away. Your roll away here, I just go to this spot right here. Okay, so when you do a right and left through, if you do a roll away there, that's really, really tight for the girls because they're going to be rolling into each other, and because they're doing a left turn, they're not actually seeing each other, so they have to do that back arch type pull in. If you don't get guys that know how to square breathe out, then the girls are going to collide in there. A half sachet is much better than a roll away when you're in a corner box, just so that they can see each other and adjust accordingly. That was it. The sequence itself, though, is quite good.
Oh, what fun!
On the annotate menu, there's something called mouse. Maybe that lets me inflict my mouse pointer on the screen.
Are you seeing mine?
I'm seeing a mouse around.
I'm over on copy right now.
I'm chasing the dancers around.
That's only coming up on your screen then.
Okay.
You could just mentally annotate. The other thing I wanted to say about today's session is I think we have a record low number of people joining us. It must be that time of year.
Yeah, I'm sorry we did, because this was really information dense, and I at least am going to go back through the chat, if not watch the video again, because we got a lot of good stuff in here.
I wasn't sure what was going to come of it, but it really turned out differently than I expected, or much more fun. Cool stuff.
It is that time of year, by the way. I was at a social dance on Thursday, and we had half the number of people that we had the preceding 2 weeks.
I have a question. If we watch a video and we don't, or watch one of these Zooms, and we don't save the chat, is there any way to go back and get the chat later, or it doesn't come up on the recording, does it?
I have been trying to, if there is substantive stuff in the chat, copy and paste it either into the description or into the comments underneath it on the recording that I post. Obviously that doesn't work for everybody, but that's what I've been trying to do.
But generally, once the Zoom's over and they close the window, that's the last of the chat. There's no way to get back to it, right?
Basically, you're right, John. The guy that hosts it with Zoom, he gets the full chat.
I try to. Oh, sorry,
except for the personal messages, and you can always check with him to hey, send those to me. But I save the chat frequently.
I save the chat all the way along. I've been saving here every 4 or 5 messages. I've been saving the chat, so it'll be available for me. But I was just wondering, if you saw something come through and you forgot to save the chat, that's the last it is. You can't go get it again, right?
That's why I tried to copy it off. And one of the confusing things is the chat timestamps are generally saved from the beginning of the Zoom meeting. And so one of the things that I try to do, and I don't always get right, is, and the reason I put those little, it is now X, 804 or whatever in the chat session, is I try to go back later and correct all the timestamps so that when I put it in the YouTube, it actually makes sense. Paul, you had something you were going to say.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm trying to watch this from my campsite up at Campbell River, and the reception isn't all that good, but I've been sitting here with my phone taking pictures of all the chat to try to get it. I don't know how to save it otherwise.
Well, I will make it available on the YouTube comments.
Sounds good.
Dan?
Yo.
I post all the links to your YouTube videos on the Orange County Callers websites. If you have stuff like Mel sent me some notes from this one here, and I'm going to put them notes along on the website with the video. So if you ever have any content, like I don't know if you've seen the ones I put on there or not, but from Mel's class, I put the notes from the class or the presentation file or whatever, I put it in there with the video on the website, so they can either go look at the video or they can download the files right there from the website. So if you have stuff like that and you want me to put it on my website there with it, just send me the file and I'll add it right there to it.
Cool. I generally put things on alamandleft.com and link to them from the YouTube comments, but being able to do it from both places is, that one of the things I think about is what happens when Rich Reel dies and his website goes away, or whatever. So how can we make sure that this information is distributed, or what happens when YouTube decides to monetize things in a way that isn't compatible with anything? So yeah, we got to think about that. Think about the future in archives, and think about if we're just being digital pack rats.
Well, the chat's a little bit different than the presentation and the video, because the chat is just something that goes on the side. And I've also noticed if I come into a video after it's already started, I only get the chat from when I join forward. I don't get the back stuff. So I don't get the total chat from zero. I get the chat from when I enter.
Right.
Correct.
And the best way I found is just to save the chat as it goes along if you remember to do it. That's the only time you'll get to see it.
And I think that this week's chat in particular stands on its own. So it'd be nice to have all of those resources. Yes.
What happens when you click on save? I clicked on save chat, but I don't know what I did.
What it does in your documents file on your computer.
Okay.
It'll create a file which is just essentially a text document. Then I'm just going to share my screen here for a second.
It didn't ask me where to put it, so it did put it in a text file somewhere.
Yeah. So if I click the three dots on the bottom and I go save chat.
Yeah.
There's chat saved. It'll create a little green bar, and then you just click on show in folder.
You're not sharing.
Oh, you're not sharing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so it creates a folder in your documents file or wherever you have your default. And what it does is it just saves it like this as a text document. And it'll tell you what the times are and what you can do. You have to go through and edit it.
Yeah.
But what I always find is a nice way of doing that is just copying, Control A, Control C. I just put it in a Word document. Paste it in there, and then it's all spaced. And then what I'll do is this, and that way I know each one which is a separate thing. So, and you can just copy, that's who it's from to everyone. You can just pull out the
Yep. I see. So okay. So it just sticks it in a standard place. That was my That was my main question. Is
it'll save onto your hard drive somewhere, usually into your documents.
Yeah, I found
it. Your hard drive or your downloads.
Yeah, it went into documents, Zoom, and then some folder with like the date and stuff of the.
Chris, usually when I back out of Zoom, that folder that it's in is open automatically on my desk. I don't know on my Mac. I don't know about others, but it's right there, and I proceed to edit it and play with it, and then have it read to me because I can't really go very often. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there this time.
Yeah.
All right, team, I'm bailing. 2 hours is about my limit. I'll catch you guys later.
Cool.
Sounds like a plan. Take care, John. Glad you're back from your trip safely.
Yep.
So, guys, that's been fun. Different than expected.
I like this one.
Any other suggestions and things for what we're going to do are handy too. But I love the feedback from you guys that weren't didn't have things to share, but that it was valuable, that we weren't just talking over your head and such.
I'm glad you did this, Don. Like I said, we did one like this about 2 years ago before we started recording, and we've done it a number of times, looking at the get-ins, the modules, the conversions, the flip-flops, and the inversions, and how they all put together, which is what the notes were I posted. I sent those to Dan to post up after. I didn't want to bring them up during the session. So I'm glad we were looking at doing this again somewhere in the near future, but I'm doing a fill-up. Just for your own note, Dave Prescott's back with the second half of his other look at the mental image, which is on next Sunday or your next Saturday. Today is Guido's going to be
a week
today. Yeah.
Okay.
Guido's going to be looking at real hexagons today.
Right.
And after that, I'm open, but I would love to do another session with you, or with you and Dave, looking at kind of like what you were saying as well, Chris, looking at the mental image from that aspect, or what Daryl was saying. I was looking at the centers. If I do a centers lead right, okay, there's an X, and if I have a veer right or something like that, I'm not changing the relative position of the sides. I'm just putting the centers back across the equator, so that's my cancellation. But that's an incorrect way of looking at it, which is what I was saying. Mental image is not my forte. I've read your book about 4 times now, and it's still not my forte.
Mel, I'm thinking of doing a class for experienced callers. Are you willing to stay up that time of night?
I'm more than willing. I don't know if my wife is willing. I'm going to have to get back to work here soon, because I've got to visit the surgeon next week and let me know if I'm allowed to get back to work. So I'm spending a lot of time on Zoom classes and everything else. That's my escape at home at the moment. So
By the way,
I've got to cut it back.
I wanted to thank you for doing the typing, the tamination stuff.
No worries.
And I wanted to thank Mark, but he got away before doing it. For the website is a convenient collection of all these things online.
Yeah, both Mark and Dan are great, because you have alamanleft.com and Flutterby, I think, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, I try to put the square dancing stuff on alamanleft.com and not confuse that with my personal stuff.
Mark posted on the Orange County Callers website. I've had so many emails. How do I join OC Callers? What organization is that? Is that like Caller Lab? And I put it in. I says, no, it's just Orange County. And then Orange County Callers Association was getting all these applications to join the Callers Association from Japan and from Russia. I says, it's just a website. It's free. Oh, how much does it cost to get? It's free. It's resources.
For another 10 days, the web is free, right?
Yeah.
Time will tell.
Okay. I did post that document in the chat too, by the way, Dan. A few people were asking for it and sending me emails, so I just posted it in there as well.
Up in New England, one of the Callers Associations that I belong to is also OCCA, the Old Colony Callers Association. So maybe we can get some people confused and get them to join ours too.
And Paul wanted to pipe in with something. Paul?
Oh, I'm trying to. Yeah, I missed something. I guess I was trying to learn back on the chat. Where do you see the save button for the chat?
Oh, do you see on the lower right-hand corner where it says File and then another box with 3 dots?
In the lower right-hand corner of the chat window.
I see. Oh, in the chat window.
At the very bottom.
Oh.
Just right above where it says type your message. It says to everyone, and then to the right of that is a file.
And then 3 dots.
To everyone, and it just says send.
Hang on. To the right of to everyone is a little file folder with the word file.
Don't see it.
Okay. Are you on a mobile phone?
He's on a phone.
No, I'm on a tablet.
Oh.
Okay.
It just says send to everyone, and then underneath there type your text.
It might be the case that it doesn't work on the tablet. Cece was saying she can't figure out how to do it on the mobile app. You can always email me, and I will happily send you whatever I got.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, if you're gonna put it on the site, I can still get it that way.
Yeah.
It'll just save taking a picture every couple minutes.
Next time you're on your computer, Paul, when you open the chat thing, there's an options thing, a little button with an ellipsis, 3 dots in it, and you click on that.
Yeah.
And
okay, I'll look at it.
So
the only thing with that, when I go on my laptop, it's somehow I've still haven't figured out how to get my shutter on my webcam to open up and again. I still got a problem with that. So that's why I use a laptop or the tablet all the time, because I got both video and voice on it. So
In fact, I used
anybody that's trying to save chats that are on a mobile device, you click and hold the individual message and copy it, and you can paste it into another app. So I bounce back and forth between copying the chat, and I open a Word document for that lesson. For any chat that I want to save, I just copy it and paste it into that Word document for the lesson.
Oh, okay. I just tried that. Yeah, copy message, and just for one individual message, though. You can't do the whole thing at once.
So, you can't do the whole thing at once, but as it's happening, because sometimes you don't want all of the chat, you just want certain pieces.
Correct.
You're able to do that way. That's how I've navigated it. I'm on my phone most of the time, not at a computer.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
When I started doing that on the computer, I would do on the whole list of chats, Command A, copy, paste it into a text document every once in a while. And as a result, some of the earlier ones got pasted in many, many times. But if you are on a computer, that saved chat just appends the new stuff, which is kind of nice if you have that option. I've mentioned that I have troubles reading chats at the same time as paying attention to everybody. So I go back and have a fairly simple way of editing off the times and the from so-and-so, and then have the thing read to me afterwards, and just save the pertinent ones. But all sorts of possibilities. And now I've found that viewing options thing next to the so-and-so is sharing their screen, and I've gotten all sorts of confused. I was saving the viewing thing.
I will I posted my chat into the site. The only reason I posted my chat is because there was I'm the one that was doing the typing and pasting into the chat, so all the choreography would be there as I pasted it. But just as a note, when you save the chat, what you'll get is your chat and the everybody chat. So, like for instance, if Dawn was doing a session and Dan was fielding questions and everybody's sending him personal messages, you will not get Dan's personal messages in your chat, and vice versa. You'll only get the public chat and yours on your own chat.
In other words, personal messages are personal?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily, but generally.
That's what they're trying to make you think. Good session, guys. But I think we've come to a logical ending of it. It's only been 2 hours and 14 minutes with no record there. Anyway, I'm going to bow out. See you guys next week if we can come up with a topic by then, Dan.
Thanks, y'all. And yeah, I'll work on that too. And hopefully we'll figure out something. And I'm off to help my mom with tech support issues. Joy. Later.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for the interesting session.
Good.